can I keep the fire of God bright in my life? Here's 4 things you can do to stay on fire for God. Number 1, prayer keeps the fire bright. Prayer always precedes fire. Before the fire fell on the disciples on the day of Pentecost, they had spent many days in prayer. They all joined together constantly in prayer, Acts 1:14. Every great revival began when a core group of believers began to pray. Prayer always sparks divine intervention in human affairs. No prayer equals no fire. Prayer is the link that allows us to commune with God's Spirit. To be on fire is to be in prayer continually. We are exhorted to be faithful in prayer, Romans 12:12. If you want to catch on fire for God, first you must pray. If you want to stay on fire for God, you must continue to pray. Number 2, reading God's Word keeps the fire bright. Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path, Psalms 119:105. When the psalmist wrote this verse, there were no electric flashlights. The light he was referring to was a blazing fiery torch, and the lamp was a clay dish filled with oil which gave off light as the wick burned. God's word is the fire that leads and guides us on the path of righteousness. Jeremiah 20 verse 9, His word is in my heart like a fire shut up in my bones. I'm weary of holding it in. Indeed, I cannot. Jeremiah 23:29, Is not my word like fire, declares the Lord? Jeremiah was so full of God's word, he felt like a pressure cooker. He couldn't keep quiet any longer. The word was in his heart like a fire. Number 3, praising God keeps the fire bright. Praise prepares our hearts for fire. It will also rekindle a fire that has started to cool off. When we tell of the great and mighty things that God has done, it changes our attitude. We stop thinking about ourselves and we begin thinking of God's greatness. Praise enables us to keep the fire of God burning bright. And number 4, being around people who are red hot keeps the fire bright. Have you ever been around someone who throws water on your wood? The people you associate with will determine the level of your passion for God. Your spiritual temperature will be raised or lowered to the spiritual temperature of the people that you spend time with. Lukewarm people are often critical of radical followers of Christ. They attempt to bring people down to their level of indifference and mediocrity. But the fire of God has no fellowship with icicles. The best way to stay on fire for God is to be around people who are zealous for God. Fire is contagious. It's like an infectious disease that people can catch just by being near someone who enthusiastically serves God. If you hang out with people who are always talking about reaching out to the lost and worshiping God, you'll be motivated to act like they do. On the other hand, if you keep company with people who are cussing and watching bad movies, you'll begin to imitate them. Your life will become a reflection of the people you spend time with. Do you want to be around people who light your fire or who wet your wood? You must make a choice. Joining together with Christians will produce a synergy that will increase the temperature of the entire group. Hebrews 10:25 says, Let us not give up meeting together as some are in the habit of doing, but let us encourage one another. A group of believers joined together will accomplish great things for God. You will become like those you are around. Stay near people who have fervency, energy, intensity, and enthusiasm for God, and you'll stay hot on fire for God as well.